Real estate agents, here's why your audience size on social media does not matter, or rather only matters when multiplied by this next metric, which I'm going to talk about. Before we get into that, if you don't know me, my name is Jarvis. I run Jarvis Media Consolidated, a marketing company, digital marketing company that helps small businesses and real estate agents focus on their social media strategies to see tangible results that actually helps their business instead of just posting for the sake of posting. And just as a quick example here, in 2023, we helped acquire 290, actually we did acquire 298,000 followers for our clients. Excuse me, I'm stuttering over all of these. 5.58 million potential customers or clients reached by our clients with the social media content we created for them, and we helped them save over $275,000 by working with us instead of using an inside social media hire. So those are the reasons why I might have a little bit of credibility in this subject. So let's talk about why your audience size does not matter, or only matters when multiplied by this other metric. So guys, your followers, your views, none of that stuff matters if you don't have the intention of your audience, or rather if the intention of your audience is not correct. I'll give you a little bit of a story. When I was working at Coldwell Banker out in a brokerage out in Los Angeles, doing their social media marketing and kind of coaching the real estate agents on how to improve their social marketing and digital marketing efforts, there was this agent there. Her name's Teresa. She is like top 1% of all Coldwell Banker agents. She has an amazing portfolio of clients. She's done amazing work, really success. She's on the younger side, and she accredited a lot of her success to her Instagram strategy. And when I would bring her up as an example in meetings and talk about all the great things that she was doing, how she was able to acquire a lot of clients from that, I remember one real estate agent said, "Yeah, well, it's easy when you're good looking." And, it doesn't matter. And I'll explain that why in a second, but, she is an attractive woman. And I jumped into, well, hey, for every good looking person on social media you show me, I'll show you an Uggo who's got 10 times the audience. And that just goes to show that a lot of people like to, two things. One, a lot of people like to make excuses like, oh, well, it's easy when you're young. Or, well, it's easy when you're super attractive. Or, well, it's easy when you're whatever, X, Y, and Z. At the end of the day, you might be right, but that doesn't actually help you. That doesn't serve you. And would you rather be, to quote the great Alex Hormozy, would you rather be right or would you rather accomplish your goal? You would rather get better and improve your business over just being like, yeah, you can just be bitter and maybe you're right, but that doesn't actually serve you. It doesn't help you. And the goal of this channel is to help you. So we're going to talk about why that doesn't matter. And also I brought up in that situation, in that example, I brought up to the person who'd said, oh, well, it's easy because she's really good looking. And she was kind of half joking, this person in the audience who said that. But I said, well, hey, at the end of the day, her intention of her audience actually probably suffers by the fact that she's, young and attractive. And what I mean by that is, yes, she gets a lot of people who DM her. Yes, she gets a lot of people who watch her videos. And yeah, she's charismatic and young and good looking. But most importantly, she actually has to siphon through her audience. She gets probably a ton of, random, probably sketchy guys who are DMing her all the time, because she's attractive. And that is actually probably harder for her than if she didn't have that sort of attention on her audience, right? Because think about it. Let's say you're posting real estate content, you're trying to get people interested in the listing you have, or you're trying to get, potential folks who are looking to buy or sell a home to work with you and you represent them as their agent. And you know what would really be unfortunate? If you got, instead of getting one or two things, which as soon as they come in, you're able to follow up, you're able to kind of get some business out of that and move forward with your goals, you got 100 messages every day, and 98 of them are DMing you about something completely irrelevant to your business. And this is a business account. You're making this content for business, and you get all these people coming through your DMs because they're interested in the way you look, when that's not what your content is about. That would be much harder. And I imagine she has to go through that. She has to siphon through and filter through a ton of bogus and BS people who are trying to get her attention for the different reasons than why she's making the content in the first place. So she's actually at a disadvantage that way. And that's because, yes, she might get a lot more views than the average person or than the average realtor or whatever, but her intention of her audience actually makes it harder for her because she'll get people, and she gets a lot of business from Instagram. So, she's not suffering there for business, but she has to siphon through all those people, all the bad actors, or maybe just people who are there for the wrong reason. And so her intention of her audience actually isn't great. Now, she's able to make up for this because she's an awesome agent and she's hardworking and dedicated, and that's a whole separate thing. But yes, her audience size helps her, but only because some of the intention of her audience is good and she works it. But wouldn't it be way easier? Wouldn't it be far easier if every single person, regardless of the number of people, of leads who came in from your Instagram DMs or Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever, wouldn't it be better if every single person who came in here actually was responding to you because they want to work with you, or they're interested at least in working with you? That would make life so much easier. And that is an example of having a higher intent with your audience. It's the same reason why, people will say, and some people do this, and they'll create accounts and they'll post either images of themselves in, let's say, a sexual manner, or they'll post, images of other people in a sexual manner, or they'll post a lot of memes. This is even a better example. A lot of real estate agents will post a lot of real estate memes. And the reason why I always recommend against this with the clients that I have, and why we never create content like this for the agents that we work with. By the way, if you want to talk with us and see if there's a chance for us to work together, see if it helps you actually in any way, shape, or form, the links are down below. But anyway, the reason I don't recommend this is because the intent is off. You might get a lot more views, you might get a lot of shares, but that's not the right audience. And a lot of times these are like inside jokes that only real estate agents are going to laugh at. And you are not making most real estate agents are not making their social media accounts to appeal and get laughs from other real estate agents. If you have a large team or you're trying to build a team, then yeah, maybe there's an argument to be made there. But most of us are trying to use it as a marketing channel first and foremost for buyers or sellers. And those kind of content, that just doesn't resonate with them. So not only will they not see it, but not only will they not be interested in it, but it will never show up on their feed because these algorithms are only showing people content they're interested in. They have no shortage of good content to show you that you're going to be interested in. So if your content doesn't do that, they'll just never see it. But then on top of that, you'll get this false effect. You'll get this false feeling like your content is actually succeeding when all of the views have nothing to do with the demographic that you're trying to target. And that's the huge problem here, is that it can be misleading when we focus on these metrics and they're not in the right context. And that comes from having an audience where the intention is not in the correct place, or at least a high percentage of them are not in the right place. We're always going to have some percentage of our audience is not going to be always geared toward exactly the type of demographics that we want. We're always going to get friends or family or something like that who follow us, and that's fine. But we want the majority of our audience to be focused on our content and be interested in working with us because that's the content we're putting out there. And that's the kind of people we're trying to market to and draw in with the content that we're creating. So your audience size, whether that be followers or just your video views or whatever it may be, your audience size is only relevant when multiplied by your intention. So if your audience, let's say you have, 1,000 people who see your content like every month, right? And I, as a whole side note, and I've talked about this in other videos, your followership is not your audience, right? Because a lot of your followers will never see your content because followers and the viewers of your content are two separate things nowadays. I have other videos on that. But your audience, the people who are actually seeing your content, let's say there's 1,000 people on average per month who see your content. Let's say only 50% of them are actually interested in the real estate content you're putting out there and are only interested in, or only potential buyers and sellers. Only 50% of them fall into that category. Well then, yeah, you might have 1,000 people in your audience, but only half of them are helpful for you. So you really only have benefit. You really only have 500 people in this case. You have your 1,000 people times 50% times 0.5 to get to your 500 people who are actually interested in your content. And so this equation can work in other different ways. So if you're posting a bunch of like meme content or a bunch of stuff that's completely irrelevant to real estate or to what your business is trying to use to grow, then, let's say you only have a 10% level of intention with your audience, right? So let's say you have 1,000 people again who see your content every single month, and you have to multiply that by 0.1. So you really only have 100 people who are interested in seeing your content or who have the intention level, who have the actual staying power and are maybe going to become potential clients or potential people to buy your products, whatever you may be doing, because you don't have a high level of intention. You don't have a high percentage of your audience that is intent on the content for the reason that you're making this social media platform in the first place. So guys, I hope this just goes to show that, when we talk about follower sizes or viewers or whatever it may be, all of this is only helpful based off of how relevant it is to succeeding with your business. That's why I don't really, love all the social media gurus that are out there who talk about the hashtags and trends and things like that don't really help your business. If you're trying to become an influencer, maybe that's a different story. But if you're just trying to grow your business, trying to get more folks to your bottom line, at the end of the day, you need to make sure that your audience, more importantly than being big, is intent on the content that you're putting out there. The best way to do that, by the way, is to just keep making content that is only going to be relevant to the people who are interested. So if you're a real estate agent in Syracuse, New York, only make content that talks to buyers or sellers about their specific needs in Syracuse, New York. The more specific you can be, the better. There's riches and niches, and that definitely applies to social media content. Guys, I hope this was helpful. Drop a comment down below if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.